5-2 in the 6th inning.
And Rodney Myers will come in the ballgame, recently recalled from AAA. And you know he's got to be very happy to be back, but he inherits quite a mess. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Cubs already trail by 3 as Rodney tries to hold him right there. They're the numbers at Iowa this year. He had 11 saves in 32 games, and he threw the ball fairly well.
Oh, Big Mac just hit number 53.
Well, that's why Gene Lamont wasn't pitching to him. He kept walking him, finally pitched to him, he hit it out.
Unbelievable. He might have 60 by the weekend, the way he is swinging the bat right now. And even the fans in Pittsburgh have called McGuire out for a curtain call. Lima gets the bunt down. Grace goes to third for the force. What a play, Grace.
It's pretty tough to get that bunt down successfully when they're charging that hard at the corners. Jose Hernandez sliding in behind Gaetti at third, and Mark Grace with an excellent play crossing over to the third base side of the mound, and he gets the force out.
So here's Biggio. Be very careful here. Houston has added a 5th run. 5-2. And Biggio has the fangs out right now. 2 are on, 1 is out. Swing and a miss. Remember, this is a man who was an all-star in the National League as a catcher and has become an all-star at second base.
And 66 runs batted in as a leadoff hitter is a huge amount of production from that spot in the batting order.
And I just don't see a weakness on this Houston team. I really don't. No balls and a strike. Fouled back. 0-2. The big advantage I like about their team is their bullpen. They've got 3 guys who can throw left-handed. And that neutralizes, say, a Ryan Klesko. That turns a Chipper Jones around to bat right-handed where he has much less power. And their closer is a guy that throws 100 miles an hour. What's not to like? No balls, 2 strikes. Now Biggio steps out. Mark McGuire hit number 53 for the Cardinals today. Sammy Sosa hit number 50 for the Cubs. 0-2 from Myers to Biggio. 1-2. Steve Traxel went 5 innings plus. 7 hits. 4 walks really hurt him. A strikeout and a home run. As Brad Ausmus has driven home 4 of the 5 Houston tallies today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Swung on, hit high in the air toward left. Brown back at the track, at the wall. Biggio hits a 3-run homer. It's 7-2. Make it 8-2. I don't want to shortchange Biggio. 7 have scored, and now as he touches, it is 8.
Home run number 15. He's now got 69 driven in, and Rodney Myers got careless with a fastball. It was 0-2, and he got that fastball on the inner portion of the plate, and Biggio put a charge into it.
15th home run. And again, the Cubs middle relief showing some chinks in the armor here. Astros have the big lead now for Bill Spires, who's 0 for 3, has yet to get the ball out of the infield.
2 3-run homers today, and you see that fastball to Biggio in a real bad spot. Wind blowing out, takes it against the fence, and Traxel with 5+ innings, 7 hits, 7 runs.
113 Traxel pitches. 55 strikes. And no, there's not an air raid going on, pal. It's the Astros hitting home runs. They've hit 2 of them today, both of them 3-run shots. And on 4 straight, Spires walks.
Well, not a kind welcome back to the major leagues for Rodney Myers. And he's still got a lot of work to do this 6th inning with Bell and Biggio. And it's Rodney against the world right now.
And the world means Bell and Bagwell and then Alou. 4 runs in, only 1 man out. Houston has cracked this baby wide open. It's 8-2 in the top half of the 6th. Chase the high fastball. Strike 1. Arizona threatening again in the 9th. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. They've got a 4-2 lead with Bernard Gilkey in the batter's box. So hope the Diamondbacks put another big number up there. It looks like we're going to need some help today to stay a game back in the wild card. There is a lot of time left in this game. But Houston playing very, very well. It's 1-1. Houston had a big offensive day yesterday. They've had a big one today with the wind blowing out. They have taken advantage. There's a strike. 1-2. Houston jumped in front 1-0 in the 1st. A Biggio double. He moved to 3rd on a Spires ground out. Derek Bell drove him in with a sacrifice fly. Brett Ausmus a 3-run homer in the 4th. Biggio a 3-run homer in the 6th. The big Houston hits. And that's just outside the bag foul. Jim Quick wasn't sure for a moment, then ruled it foul.
Jim Quick got turned around, but he was looking at it, and fortunately that one went on the right side of the bag for the Cubs.
So Bell just missed extra bases but stays alive. 1-2. The Cubs have got to get their middle relief situation straightened out again. The starters going 6 2/3, 7 innings at a time now. The pitch hammered high in the air to straightaway center. Lance Johnson going back, still going back at the wall. 2 men out. Because it's great to have Rod Beck closing the ball game, but of late, other than Terry Mulholland down there hasn't been anybody that's put together 2 or 3 consistent performances to get to Rod Beck, and that's no way to win a playoff position.
Just barely in front of the ivy as Derek Bell bids for a home run. Comes up a little short. And you're right, the bullpen has been a trouble spot. With that in mind, they sent down Terry Adams, but Rodney Myers called back, and he's having some problems.
And if you're looking for a trade, well, the published reports being what they are, they say that 240 players have been claimed on waivers. And of those, about 170, 180 of them were pitchers. Teams have made claims. So it's going to be almost impossible to make any kind of move. So hopefully the guys in that pen will be able to straighten it out here in the final 5 weeks of the year. Bagwell, a monstrous cut, fouls it back. They go to the bottom of the 9th now in New York. 4-2 Arizona. McRae, Allensworth, and Lopez due for the Mets. Bagwell has walked, has singled, and has popped to first. Here it comes. Strike 3 called. And the inning's over, but the damage done. 4-run score for the Astros. The big blow, the Biggio 3-run rocket to left. And the Astros have jumped in front by 6. It's now 8-2.
In Hyperion Bay.
Coming this fall on WGN.
Nothing comes easy when you follow your heart.
This is fate. This is a challenge.
Felicity.
Coming this fall on WGN.
When it's once upon a sister, will a princess find her prince? No.
I hope you're happy. Never been happier.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
Houston leads at 8-2. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. The wind howling out. So no lead is safe in this ball game as Brant Brown looks for his second hit in as many tries. Remember, Henry Rodriguez started this game for the Cubs, trying to break up a double play. His spikes caught. He twisted his ankle. Back in inning number 2, Brown took his place, singled and scored the first Cub run back in the 4th. Lima misses with ball 1. Brown, Hernandez, and Houston in the ball game here in the 6th. That won't be deep enough. At short, Gutierrez will battle the winds, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Well, friends, if you're looking for comprehensive coverage of the Cubs as they vie for playoff contention, well, look no further. Vine Line, the Cubs monthly newspaper, provides a complete package of Cubs coverage for fans nationwide. Subscriptions start at only $19.95, and all 2-year subscribers get a free copy of the Ryne Sandberg Day commemorative program. Call 773-404-CUBS to order, or visit the official Cubs website at www.cubs.com. Jose Hernandez 0 for 2 today, 10 for 20 on the homestand. And he looks inside. Our senior producer director of Cubs baseball is Arnie Harris. Today's game produced by Pete Toma. Our associate producer John Walgren. A chopper left side and through for a hit. Well, in a game like this, just try to get base runners aboard and have somebody hit 1 or 2. And then you're right back in business. And Tyler Houston has home run pop.
Spires was in even with the bag, and this chopper in front of home plate just went over his head. So the thought of Jose bunting pulled in Spires. Normally that would have been a bounder right to him. Instead it went over his head, and now the bullpen up and going once again. It's Dave Stevens.
Kim Fields, our coordinating producer. Bob Vorwald, our executive producer. And our thanks as always to the lovely and talented Kathy Kerr, our AD in the booth today. Bad news in New York. Mets have 2 on, nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Diamondbacks up 4-2, and Greg Olson is on to try to close it out. Houston pops it foul back. Got to use those closers.
Thanks to the Kennys from Nuts on Clark for sending up some goodies to the booth today. I'll be rating your bag of goodies, Chip. Thank you very much.
That's not a surprise. 1 ball, 1 strike, swing and a miss. They gave you the prunes this time, huh?
Arnie and I both, as we head into our twilight years.
The gloaming. It's always the gloaming, I guess.
And the planes coming back overhead. Disrupt things for just a moment.
I'm glad to see them doing it when their guy's on the mound for a change. The pitch. High pop left side toward the Cub bullpen. Alou comes over. Oh, puts it away. Now fires back toward first. And Bagwell picks off the errant throw.
Well, a little confusion over there because Tyler Houston was standing there along with Jose Hernandez. But Bagwell able to differentiate the ball from the congestion at first base. Good play by Alou as the wind keeps it in play. And then he thinks he can get a double play. You see a lot of folks around that first base bag area.
So Gaetti, the final Cub hope here in the 6th. And the fate of Rodney Myers will depend on what Gaetti does here as Glenn Allen Hill standing on deck. Mr. Hill has had himself quite a couple of days here in Chicago. The pitch. 2-0. Of course, the pinch hit grand slam the other day, the homer against his former mate Randy Johnson. If Gaetti could reach, maybe he could pop a 3-run homer. Hill was hitting some monster shots in batting practice. Gaetti pulls it to third. Spires will throw to second in time, and the Cubs are out of luck in the 6th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. To the 7th we go. It's all Houston. They've got an 8-2 lead.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Pepsi. Generation Next.
This fall, Sister, Smart Guy, and Unhappily are marching into Sunday night with the WB's newest comedy, The Army Show. They came from all walks of life.
The hippies have finally realized the Army is a sweet deal.
Looking for able-bodied recruits.
Hey, calm.
And overcoming every challenge.
My daddy has very strict rules against dating soldiers.
I don't want to date your daddy.
The Army Show.
Sundays this fall on WGN.
If you ask us, it just tastes better.
For 100 years, Biv the Michelin Man has symbolized our never-ending quest to invent the best tires in the world. Michelin, celebrating 100 years of innovation.
Another breakthrough from the 1 Hour Labs of Lens Crafters. New Featherweights Plus lenses. They're lighter, they're thinner, they're more impact resistant, and now they're twice as scratch resistant compared to regular plastic lenses. New Featherweights Plus, only from Lens Crafters, made in about an hour.
An injury could sideline a promising career.
Can't make your decision out of fear.
What do you know about fear?
7th Heaven.
Monday night at 7 on WGN.
Houston's up 8-2 as we head to the top of the 7th inning. New York has the bases loaded, nobody out. But in the bottom of the 9th inning.
But Alan Embry's in, and he'll probably get Matt Franco.
Well, the count is 0-2, and he did just strike him out. So one away. Here it's Moises Alou, 1 for 3 with a run scored. And a strike. 0-1. Greg Olson couldn't get the job done in the 9th. So now Embry will try to flamethrow his way through the Mets. And Carlos Baerga, the next hitter. Alou 0-1 count, rips it back foul 0-2. 8-2 Houston here. 4-2 Arizona in New York.
It's a day when Sammy hit his 50th and Mark McGwire hit his 53rd.
And how about Fernando Tatis for St. Louis? He's got a 5-hit game in Pittsburgh today. That's the young man that came over in the Clayton and Stottlemyre deal from the Texas Rangers. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chopper left side. Gaetti handles that ball beautifully. What a play at third. 1 down.
Good effort by Gary Gaetti. That ball flattened out, almost got by him, but he was able to stay right with it and make the play. So he's still got a little range left, and he gets it across in plenty of time.
Well, Gaetti had made only 3 errors with the Cardinals over at third base. So he's been very sure-handed at first base, too, for the St. Louis team. So Everett smacks the first pitch into left center field. He's now 1 for 3 on the day. And a threat to run. His leadoff walk in the 6th opened the floodgates against Traxel. And then Rodney Myers came on and served up the Biggio home run.
We got Jimmy Pearsall loosening up, the longtime partner of Harry Carey over on the south side. And now a roving instructor for the Cubs, and what a great outfielder he was in his day.
The pitch lined into right field for a hit. Everett rounds second. He won't challenge Sammy. So it's 2 on, 1 man out.
And here comes the villain for today, Brad Ausmus.
And the Cubs want to get Myers through this 7th inning, for the pitcher spot is due up leading off the 7th inning. It's already 8-2, however, in favor of Houston. Can't give these guys any more. The bullpen is up. It's Stevens warming up. The pitch line into right field. Another hit. Everett rounds third. They're going to wave him. Sammy up. He's throwing. It's cut off by Grace. Can't get the ball out of his glove. And everybody's going to be safe.
And Mark Grace had a real good shot at third base. But Ausmus drives in his 5th run on his 4th hit, giving him 36 for the year. It's a 9-2 game. This one off the end of the bat, and everything that Ausmus is swinging at finds a hole. Sammy gets this throw off in good shape, and Mark Grace, seeing the play at third, just double clutches, knowing there's probably no way you're going to get Everett at the plate.
So Ausmus, with 31 ribbies coming in, drives in 5 today. Runners now 1st and 3rd in a 9-2 game. And Lima looking for his first hit. The pitch. Line right field. A base hit by the pitcher.
Fans here getting a little uneasy, shall we say, as 4 straight singles have greeted Rodney Myers here in the 7th. And here comes Jim Riggleman.
And the Mets draw closer. A ground out by Baerga makes it 4-3. And Tony Phillips is in the batter's box for New York. So Rodney Myers, his welcome back to the big leagues was not too successful. He's given up 4 runs so far. He's given up 4 straight hits. And Craig Biggio will be the batter against Dave Stevens.
This fall, Sister, Smart Guy, and Unhappily are marching into Sunday night with the WB's newest comedy, The Army Show. They came from all walks of life.
The hippies have finally realized the Army is a sweet deal.
Looking for able-bodied recruits.
Give me a call.
And overcoming every challenge.
My daddy has very strict rules against dating soldiers.
I don't want to date your daddy.
The Army Show.
Sundays this fall on WGN.
On a full hour of the Parenthood, is Sari about to get swept off her feet?
Will you marry me?
No.
If you come back in 5, 10, 40 years.
The Parenthood. And when it's once upon a sister, will a princess find her prince? No.
I hope you're happy.
I'm happy. You happy, Lisa?
Never been happy.
Then it's Smart Guy after an hour of the Parenthood and sister.
Tonight at 6 on WGN.
Jeff Blauser takes over at shortstop for the Cubs, and Dave Stevens trots out to the mound. And here's a look at our Ameritech playbook.
The Ameritech playbook is the 0-2 fastball that Craig Biggio puts a charge into, hits out of the ballpark, his 15th home run of the year. It gave the Astros an 8-2 lead, and things started to deteriorate rapidly, and that is your Ameritech playbook. So the curse of the top of the 7th is alive and well as Jimmy Pearsall continues to wait in the wings to get his chance at conducting the 7th inning stretch.
And Jose Hernandez will move from short to third. Gaetti out of the ball game. Blauser at short, Hernandez at third. And let me correct something I said about Myers. He's given up 3 runs, not 4 in the ball game. One of those runs I had charged to Myers belonged to Steve Traxel. In any event, the runners at first and second do belong to him as Craig Biggio greets Stevens here in a Houston blowout lead. And Biggio rockets another one to left. Another 3-run homer. And folks, in the most important series of the year, perhaps for the Cubs, you're seeing your Central Division hopes go out of the ballpark in a big hurry.
Biggio's now driven in 72 with his 16th homer. He's 3 for 5 today with 6 driven in. And the Cub bullpen, which some suspected might not be quite strong enough, having some problems today. Watch it again as Biggio picks on a first ball. Looks like either a fork ball or a slider. It goes swirling out of the ballpark just the same.
4 runs in the 6th for Houston, 5 here in the 7th. It's 13-2. Spires pops it up. Blauser makes the grab. But folks, there is good news. The Arizona Diamondbacks have held on to beat New York. And Blauser just did hold on to that baseball.
Jeff just came into the game, and it's hard to figure out how hard that wind is blowing, but that pop-up almost went over his head.
So 2 men are out. 5 runs in for the Astros. And Derek Bell, the batter. And everybody for the Houston team is swinging for Waveland. Well, we said it was going to be a high-scoring game. We just hoped it wasn't going to be a high-scoring game for one team. Unless it was the Cubs. It hasn't turned out that way. 13-2. Houston has exploded. Broken bat to the shortstop. Blauser plays it on a short hop, throws to first in time, and Derek Bell is retired. Well, Jimmy Pearsall's on to sing the 7th inning stretch. Jimmy, we need some help. Let's get him going.
Please join in the singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, led by Harry's broadcast partner for 6 years, Jimmy Pearsall.
Well, 21 years ago, I was with Harry when he first sang Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I need your help loud and clear so we can all sing a 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Yeah!
People smile and tell me I'm the lucky one, and we've just begun. Think I'm gonna have a son. And in the morning when I rise, you bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright.
Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
On a full hour of the Parenthood, is Saria about to get swept off her feet?
Will you marry me?
No.
If you come back in 5, 10, 40 years.
The Parenthood. And when it's once upon a sister, will a princess find her prince? No.
I hope you're happy.
I'm happy. You happy, Lisa?
Never been happy.
Then it's Smart Guy after an hour of the Parenthood and sister.
Tonight at 6 on WGN.
A participating advertiser for Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is the Discover Card. Discover Card, the card that pays you back with a cashback bonus award.
13-2 in favor of the Astros with Steve Stone, Chip Carey, and a very special guest. As you see, Richard Hidalgo in the field for the Astros. Jimmy Pearsall, one of my grandfather's good friends, former partners, and the man who got that take me out to the ball game thing all started. It's your fault, is it not?
No, it's Mr. Beck's fault, but I loved it. And the very first time he sang it, it was the 7th inning, and he said, I opened the window to Old Comiskey Park. I want to watch the fans. He said, hey, kid, get in the back. This is my act. He couldn't do anything to me today. Hey, what is it? I got the 13-run pool, so everything's all right, guys. Don't worry about a thing.
Well, I know we were doing pretty good until we announced you were going to come up here, and then we had the curse of the 7th again.
But I want to thank the fans because they really sang loud. They could have been booing everybody with the way things are going.
Oh, you did a great job.
You know, it's a beautiful ballpark. It's great to be at the park. When you're 69 years old and you're still at the ballpark.
It's all beautiful, isn't it?
It's all beautiful. I love the fish. I love the ballpark.
Jeff Blauser, a little roller towards short. Funny hop handled by Gutierrez, and Jeff retired for out number
Well, Jimmy,
one.
I know that you're one of the great outfield instructors in all of baseball, and you've been up and down through the Cubs system. And where are the bright spots for the Cubs?
Well, I think Jason Maxwell, a second baseman down at Iowa, is really ready to play in the big leagues. He's become a fine fielder, a good hitter. He's hitting over 300 with 14 home runs and about 30 doubles. But where's he going to play here? It's tough for him. I've got a kid down named Jason Randolph down at Rockford who's just turned 19, 3-9 down the line, left-handed switch hitter.
Lance Johnson, a fly ball to right. That's Hidalgo territory. He's got it one away.
Very exciting. He's a Glanville type kid. This kid can go get balls as fast as anybody off the bat I've ever seen. He just has to learn how to play. And these things are, you know, we don't have an awful lot, but I think Jim Henry, his scouts, got some pretty good athletes this time down in the lower level rookie leagues.
And of course, the #1 draft pick of the Cubs is a kid by the name of Corey Patterson, who has not yet signed. But everybody says he's got a chance to be a real stud as Morandini is going to ground out. Jimmy, can you stick around for another half inning for us?
Yeah, they've hit the first pitch. 13-2, and they're hitting the first
Your
pitch.
singing inspired him to move things along, but we'll keep you for another half inning. We'll be right back. Corey Patterson.
Something you hear, but I want to see him playing. I want to see him away from that metal bat. I want to see him having a bad day coming back. I want to see him how he plays in different ballparks. I mean, to give a kid $4 or $5 million that's 18 years old, boy, it's hard for me to understand. But I guess that's the way it goes. The numbers are that way now.
Jimmy, is that the toughest thing that any type of scout or projector of talent has to kind of evaluate, is what's going to happen to a kid once they take the aluminum out of his hand and put wood in his hand?
Right, and they also go to their home now and find out what kind of a family he's from, what kind of a kid he is. I don't care what about his family. I want to know how he plays out in the field.
Bagwell, a check swing roller to first. Gracel handled himself. That's a break as Bagwell grounds out. Let's pause quickly for station identification from Wrigley Field.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
Back at Wrigley Field, Chip Carey, Steve Stone, Jimmy Pearsall here from the ballpark.
You know, the toughest thing for defense now is to play good. Work hard because this game's gotten away, but if you're a defensive player, you got to bear down twice as hard. Because if a fan sees you boot a ball or make a bad play, they're going to get all over you.
A swing by Ali. You got to love the way this guy, Moises Alou, plays the game.
He's got a little quick swing. He's got great hands and wrists. That's the secret to him. And I don't believe he lifts weights, because you don't have that quickness with your hands and wrists when you lift weights.
Well, he told me that he's done it this year for the first time, Jimmy. Obviously, he doesn't do it to look good at the beach, but he said that he's taken his career home run high from 23 to 37 now because he does lift weights. In fact, he was lifting them before the game today.
It must be arms and wrists that he's doing. And I'm talking about above the shoulders. And I think that creates tightness in the shoulders, and guys can't throw well.
A fly ball hit into shallow center. Lance Johnson gallops in, puts it away, 2 down.
Boy, what a beautiful day. It's
Nice,
just
huh?
a shame we aren't in this ball game. But you know, the club has bounced back in a lot of games so far this year. And the teams that, if this tiny team would only get out of town, it would be a lot better.
No question.
Because, you know, it really hurt our ball club when we lose 5 to the Diamondbacks. We go on the road. We play bad in Pittsburgh, and we play bad in Miami. Those are the games you got to win if you're going to win a pennant.
Well, if the Cubs are going to get to postseason play, Jimmy, and I think it's becoming obvious it's not going to be by defeating Houston in the Central, but we're going to have to do it on the road because that's the majority of our games coming home.
You know, when you lose 13-2 and you look up on the board and you see where Arizona beat New York 4-3, that's a blessing.
Yes, sir. It sure is. Carl Everett has his second hit. Big turnaround first, but he'll stop there.
Boy, this guy came to life after playing a lousy year last year in New York.
Well, they had a lot of confidence in him, and Jerry Hunsinger knew him from New York, where he had a few personal problems, and they felt that perhaps they were overblown somewhat there, and so he took a gamble that things would turn out very well. He had Tom McCraw as a hitting coach. He felt that he could really relate very well to Everett, and also he felt that the presence of Bagwell and Biggio every day in that lineup Could certainly
Pump you up.
help anybody
Yeah,
and
pump you
keep
up.
you on the straight and narrow.
I noticed he moved him in on the plate. Better plate coverage, too. Oh, boy.
Gutierrez hits a rocket into center that Lance Johnson's going to track down, and that retires side. Jimmy, it's great to see you. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you very much. We'll see you again.
Okay, Jimmy Pearsall, and it's all Houston today at Wrigley Field. We'll take another shot at Lima here.
In the 5th inning, Sammy got a 3-2 off-speed pitch out over the plate and hit it 440 feet to move him second all-time in Cub history behind only Hack Wilson.
And it was a rocket, folks. That's about the only bright spot of the day for the Cubs, who are down 13-2. Swung on, hit high, hit deep, hit far. He's got number 51.
The family of Sammy Sosa enjoying his 2-home run performance. And in a game like this, the fans stay around the whole way just to watch Sammy hit another one. And hit another one he does. A towering shot. He's got 51.
Oh, and you know the folks down in the Dominican Republic are celebrating in the streets as Sammy Sosa keeps pace with Mark McGwire. Big Mac hit number 53 today. Sosa number 50 and 51. Oh, baby, what a bullet.
This is a high fastball, and Sammy just turns on it and takes it way back. It's the 9th multi-homer game of the year. And for Southwest Airlines, how far does it fly? 369 happy feet.
It's a 13-3 game. And Grace 0-1. Yeah, the Sosa family calling home to make sure mom was watching down in the Dominican Republic. Grace a roller right side. Bagwell another good play. And Lima retires him at first. Well, the Cubs hopefully can put a couple more on and give Sammy one more crack in the bottom of the 9th inning.
It's going to be a very, very happy family as Sammy gets ever closer to 62.
Like I said, I would not be surprised if one of those two men is knocking at the door by next weekend. Cubs will be in Cincinnati, another game here, of course, then Colorado.
As long as it stays this hot all over the East. And then Sammy, don't forget, has 4 in Colorado, where it really doesn't matter how hot it is because the ball flies out of there.
So both McGwire and the Cubs to 9.5 games out of the National League Central League. Totals and highlights from Wrigley Field right after this. Cubs Sammy Sosa hit home run number 50 in inning number 5 for the Cubs. Then in the 8th inning, hit number 51. Trailing Big Mac Mark McGwire by just 2. McGwire hit number 53 today for St. Louis. But Sammy's heroics came in a losing effort as the Astros take their second straight from the Cubs. 13-3 your final score. The Cubs now with 33 games left on the season trail the Astros by 9.5 ball games. Jose Lima now 13-6. Steve Track.